After losing 75% of his peripheral vision several years ago and then losing his job, my next guest set up a magazine in Portsmouth for people with visual impairments. The online publication started just over a year ago, and the editor of Losing My Sight magazine, David Taylor, joins me now. Thanks for coming in, Dave. So just tell me first of all a bit about you and your story.
Yeah, as you mentioned, about 3 years ago I started losing sort of my sight a little bit, so I was a bit concerned. So we went to opticians and get them all checked out, and they found that I lost 75% on my peripheral vision. And with the job I was doing, unfortunately I couldn't continue working, and so I was at a loose end, didn't know what to do. Had a little bit of depression at first. We got over that through the RNIB and Action for Blind, who were very good and helped me out there. And it was New Year's Day 2016, I thought, right, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? Because I'm still young. So I thought, well, okay. I went online and typed in magazines for people with visual impairment. Couldn't find nothing really that I liked, and there was nothing there that gave informative information but a bit of fun as well, and various topics. So I thought, right, okay, I'm going to start my own. And then that's when I started planning it. So I contacted the Solent Business Hub and said, look, I've not done this before. Can I get some help? Where do I get some help? So it was suggested I contacted Portsmouth University and see if there's any students there that would like, or graduates who would like to actually help out. And I had one guy called Dennis who asked me a bit more in-depth questions like, what do you want me to do it for? How do you want to do it? And I goes, well, all I want to do is get a magazine online with local news, views, anything from politics to sport, and do it on a quarterly basis. And he goes, right, I can help you and do the website, social media, and build a magazine every quarterly for you. And that's how we got started. So it was just me and Dennis at first. Right. And then we progressed to doing some pictures at Fratton Park. Yeah. And I got a sports editor on board now who's also visually impaired, and I've got a guy who's blind called David Daniels, and he does recipes for me every quarter, and he gives you tips on how to do good cooking and that sort of stuff. Admittedly, I haven't tasted any of his stuff, but at the end of the day, I trust that he's still around, so he must be pretty good. So
not poisonous anyway.
No, not poisonous at all. No. Yeah, so we thought, well, we need to progress this a bit more, so we put out for more volunteers. Yeah. And then as the magazine was going out, people started emailing me and saying, we like what you're doing here, can we help? I go, yeah, I could always do with more content. So they were writing stories on how they were feeling, how they lost their sight, how they dealt with the sight. There's one lady who's a mother, and she was giving us her views on how she dealt with motherhood, being visually impaired.
And how does it vary what you have in your magazine for people who are going through or who've experienced sight loss and visual impairments compared to what might be in a normal magazine? Because, you know, there are plenty of other publications that deal with politics or sport. So what is it that's different about yours? Okay,
we got a mixed, varied articles. We do the politics and the sports for the because, like myself, I'm visually impaired, and my wife isn't. So if she reads a magazine, there's something in there for her as well. So we're balancing out the articles for the visually impaired and for the people who are not. So there's articles for how to deal with sort of like how to read stuff online, how to use magnifying glasses. There's articles from RNIB, Vision Express, all on eye care and that sort of stuff. So that caters for the people who are visually impaired. And then we just leave the rest of the stuff to come in, and we'll deal with it for the normal sighted people. And sorry if this sounds like a ridiculous question, but for people who do have visual impairments or who are in fact blind, how do they read the magazine online? Yeah, well, to be fair, that's not a silly question, because I get that question all the time. Now, when we first started, we had a difficulty with people reading it online, so I had to do a little bit more research on how we could get the issues read. and it turns out we can get them read via screen readers. So people can get them on a computer and their screen readers will read it off to them. And if you're visually impaired, then you can just expand the text on the computer itself. So we overcome that little hurdle, and that's how people do read it
So
online.
it's either by making the text, the font itself a lot bigger, which
Yes.
that's done reasonably easy. Is a screen reader, is that a device or is it a software?
It's several softwares. You can. There's
softwares.
so many companies
Okay.
that do it. Yeah, everyone's got different kinds of software.
And we're just running out of time, but what are your hopes for the future of the magazine?
I'd like to expand the magazine across the country. We've got some readers in America and India and China, so we'd like to eventually go worldwide. We want to do the British World Cup, British Grand Prix at Silverstone this year, because we've done the one in Abu Dhabi last year. So we want to be known and recognised rather than just, oh, you're just a silly little magazine. But we do cater for disability people, and we want them to be in the forefront all the time.
Dave, thank you for coming in. We wish you
welcome.
the best of luck with that. And if you stay tuned as well, later today we do have a report about getting your eyes tested and some of the complications that you can have with sight loss and glaucoma. So stay tuned for that.